Hi, everyone. It is March 13th, 2026. This is an open door, the hour that we have highlighted and have called Sharing the Word. We're currently working with the channel text entitled Resurrection, and we're facilitated by Amy and Sandra, but as has been our habit, we start with a clip from the guides. This one is entitled Navigating Turbulence. And here we go.
When we see before us realizing the self and the circumstances that you have indeed been party to, we question at times why you choose to be afraid in the face of change. The change that humanity is undergoing at this time is of such a magnitude that there is little that one can do but accept the reality that the status quo that you have become accustomed to is no longer, and that the idea of returning to a status quo that existed prior to this time is not only unlikely, it would be actually counterproductive. The times that you sit in offer enormous opportunity for realization, and realization not only of the individual but of the collective. And the challenge that you all have right now is the inclination to move towards a place of fear, to navigate what you perceive as an undertow. Now, the undertow of the energies that you are perceiving now are indeed present, and they are indeed an invitation to hold the self in the lowest strata of vibration that you can find. To understand that to stay with a low tone at this time is certainly to give you what you say you don't want, must be to tell you that the opportunity to lift to the higher is actually present now, and it will allow you in all ways to ride the wave of transition. Now, the wave of transition that you are experiencing is happening in multiple strata at multiple time. And you must understand that when many currents converge at one time, a convergence in identity, in politics, in medicine, all of these things are converging at once. They create a kind of vortex to lift and propel you individually and collectively to a higher assumption. Now, assumption is a word we rarely use, but we will use it on this fine day for one reason. It clarifies that you are being lifted to a place where you are assuming a realized state. Now, a realized state for some of you may simply be recognition of how you have abnegated your authority and your choice or free will in prior time. It may also support you in realizing your inherent divinity, and it may also realize you all in an awareness of the requirements of the species. The species that you are of, and you may call it humanity if you wish, knows itself always in consort with the legacy of what it has created thus far. And the legacy that humanity knows itself through, at least in your idea of time as you understand time, is fraught with fear and held by fear, a mosaic of fear in some ways that you rest upon to comprehend or identify every occurrence that you align to. Now, understand what this means. When you rest in the idea of fear, a terrible thing is happening, will happen yet again, and I must be prepared. You simply brace yourself for the potential that, while may be there, may not be the only way that things can shift. And to move to the higher field, or what we call the upper room, through this time will not only support you in realizing the self beyond the old archaic systems that were known through war, through fear, through separation, they will actually support you in yielding to the higher. Now, yielding to the higher is also something that we don't speak too often, but indeed you may yield, you may support by acceptance the idea of higher will. To yield to higher will is not to sit around bemoaning the fact that you don't know what it means. In fact, it is to align to it and let it carry you. When you align to the idea that there is higher will or a higher tonality that you can come to that may not resemble what you think it should be, should I leave the husband? Should I not? What is the higher will? And indeed be something other, a recognition of your innate requirement for truth. Indeed, you will know and you will abide in that truth and clarify the actions that may be required of you. An action that is required of you might be understood as a requirement that supports your realization or perhaps your release of the very things that have tethered you to the undertow or the low tone or the agreement to fear that you have all in this field been party to. The relevance of this time is not to say that some will sink and some will swim. It is indeed to say that the turmoil that you are experiencing now, when many currents converge all at once, holds within it a great potential to re-know the self that you have thought you were and comprehend the identity that indeed you truly are, and also claim these things for all that you meet, all that you encounter, and the world itself that you are party to the creation of. Indeed, you are all party to the creation of this world, and while you tend to still think in ways that are segmented, parochial, if you wish, my community, my marriage, my country, my continent, if you wish, you must understand that what is occurring now in differing ways is present in all fields. And every country in its own way is asking itself what is expected of us at this time, and in what ways do we carry the highest. To understand that carrying the highest requires a level of surrender, and a surrender not necessarily to the known or to what you would think would be the highest choice or the most biased choice based on your understanding, but it is actually lifting to a relevancy where what is true can be known as and through you will sustain your awareness. The idea that higher will is always the prettiest, is always the easiest, that it should all be in perfect flow at all times will indeed confound you now. But it is true that when one is caught in the undertow, wrapped in a whirlpool, there are times when what one must do is float on one's back and lift with the current to the higher tone that must also be available. To struggle against the old, to demand that it be what it has been and how it should be based on your edict, must be seen as a recreation of doctrine or past identity known through the collective field. Some of you say to us, I just want to be comfortable. This isn't the time to be comfortable. This is the time to wake up to the discomfort that you experience and ask the divine self or the God within you, how can I be present in this? How may I know myself in this? How may I support my brother, my sister, my neighbor in this? How can I lift through this chasm that I experience to the light that I know must be there? Now, knowing is realization when one is moving through a dark night. When a country is moving through a dark night, one must be aware that there is still light present, even though it cannot be seen. Because the action of fear is to claim more fear, most of you abide in the realization that you should be afraid and then find yourself again and again carried by that channel, carried by that current, claimed in the underground cave, if you wish, where the darkness excels and you don't perceive that light can shine. When one comes from the bottom of the sea and one lifts and lifts and lifts, there is time that comes when the light can be seen through the murky water, through the undercurrent, through the tide that is shifting. But in time it comes, and when it comes, you break through and you breathe easily, and you say the words, "I am in the upper room. I have come."
Welcome, 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 everyone. This morning, I have put the page that we are on in the chat. I'll post it again for those who came in and maybe didn't get in time to see it. What did everyone think of that? Any comments? Any thoughts about what we just heard?
Go with the flow.
Yeah, I would say so. That's about all I understood. William.
It seemed to describe the feelings I've been having the last week. And I tried to point it out a little bit yesterday, but I'm not going to try now. But I've just been feeling that distance, zoomed out, observing, noticing, in spite of all the fear thoughts that I hear all over the internet with friends. And somehow, whatever it is, that upper room, that feeling of just observing. So that's all I want to say right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Josephine, then Rana, and then John. So Josephine.
Well, I was looking forward to some answer because, as I pointed out yesterday, I am really upset about the world situation as it is right now, turbulence. But what I got was the message that always comes to us when we face adversity or in any other way. And that is accept, just look for knowing yourself and finding your way to the upper room. But it didn't help me in terms of how. And I accept the guidance and of course will attempt it, but again, left kind of empty-handed about the how.
Thank you. Thank you. Rana, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be on camera in a moment, but what that pointed for me is to question, what am I bracing myself for? What am I afraid of? And it popped for me immediately, right? It didn't take long. It's the fear of my husband transitioning, which there's no indication that that's going to happen anytime soon, but that really was a pointing, what am I bracing myself for? And perhaps taking a moment to reclaim that without fear. Josephine, that would be the how, right? Would be to just take the moment, I think, and look at this fear or this turbulence just for a moment. And in the noticing, say, God is, I am here in the upper room, and just trust that these moments that they tell us to take are actually doing the work. I think that there's some part of my mind that still says, oh, that's woohoo, and it's not. It's not. It's practicing the presence, short moments many times. So I'm going to look at that today. Thanks.
Yeah. That I'm being drawn to the Course in Miracles quote. It's an workbook exercise, I think, and it's when it comes to this fill in the blank, whatever situation, there's nothing my holiness cannot do. And I love that one. And so, John, you're up next.
He speaks to that when he says the higher will, when he talked to the higher will when you're in this. So that is my holiness, the higher will. So what I got out of that, and I really enjoyed it, appropriate. And by the way, good morning, everybody. Great to be with you on this Friday morning. And the first thing that I got is the fear of change, and I think that's what he brought up first of all. So what am I afraid of, and why am I afraid of? So, and what do I want to change? The second thing was for me was action from my realization. When I know there's things that I want in my life, I do need to take action on that. The third thing was the mosaic of fear that stumbles right up in my face. And oh my God, we could spend all day on that. In fact, most of these calls are about that, dealing with fear. The fourth one, I think whether it's the activity of fear attracts more fear. That's the bogeyman. And the last point that I'd like to say actually speaks to what Rona says. How can I be present in this quote negative fear, discomfort? How can I be present? And I kind of think that's reaching for the holy will or the holiness as a guidance for that. How can I be present? It's a question to ask. When I just have to get present when I'm in fear. I got a story about the past running, and I got a story about the future running, and they're both hijacking what I want to be doing. So it's a beautiful message, navigating turbulence. Wow, what a concept!
Thank you, Patricia, and then Lonnie.
Good morning, everyone. Good to
Good
be
morning.
here. I think about what's the upper room. I've been thinking about that. What does that mean? And the first word that came to mind was acceptance of what is. What is that I'm in fear. I'm in fear of what's happening in the country. I was talking to a couple of Americans who are now living here, and they're presently living in this complex I live in. And they said, we just sold our house, thank God. Look at what's happening to the country. Look at what's happening to the world. Look at what's happening, blah, blah, blah. All caught in fear. We're so glad we're here in Mexico. We're so glad to be out of the States, et cetera, et cetera. And I heard the fear, and I said to them, yeah, it's nasty. We can agree on what's going on here. We are on the same side of the street, so to speak. But from this darkness comes light. And they both looked at me and they said, yeah, but I may not be alive to see it. And that may be true. And that scared me for a moment. And I went, it will be what it will be. That acceptance is such an important part for me. My experience is when I'm in the upper room, I'm in acceptance. I'm breathing. I'm in the now. And that's all there is right now. So it's like that seems to make the most sense for me. And when I'm afraid, accepting that I'm afraid. And in that acceptance, it begins to widen what's possible. Because I don't need to go there. I don't need to go into my fear because it's just a story. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's anyway how I'm thinking.
Makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. It's also indicative that the speaker believes that they're a body, because they think if they're not embodiment in the body, that they won't get to experience it, which is it's it just shows how habituated we are to think in that way. But thank you, Patricia. Lonnie, you're up next. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm driving down the highway, but I guess I was moved to speak on this because when I think about fear, the first thing that comes when I engage it is, what is it serving? How is it serving? And if it's serving at all. There are those that believe that fear serves, but I think it serves to create more fear. The other thing that really hit me as I was listening is, when I look out at the world and what's going on in the world, who am I to say what people should be going through or shouldn't be going through, what they should be experiencing or not? In the greater picture, in the greater landscape, all is of the divine. And if all is of the divine, and everything that everybody is walking through, there's something there for them to come through and to learn from, or not. But who am I to make that judgment? And so I often just really focus on what is the energy that I want to put into the world. Because if I want to join in the fear and join into that energy, I can do that. That's a choice. But I can also choose something opposite or something different, which is to only stand in love. Because fear just doesn't seem to serve me in any way that's healing or helping. Sorry, that's it.
Thank you, and drive carefully. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be with you this morning. Today, as I listened, I started out with something, the status quo is changing. And I thought, and then I feel like we were not warned or told, don't think you want to go back to something in the past that was somehow better. And it just brought to mind a lot of the conflict in the world today is, no matter which political party you're in, everybody wants to go back to something they thought was better. Some way back, some more recent past where they thought democracy was better. And what Lonnie just said is, there is a greater good. None of it wasn't always better for everyone.
No.
It was only better for some, even those of us who think it was more recently better. So, I mean, that to me changes fear to hope, and that I can float on the hope of knowing that all of it is taken care of in the hands of a power it's me, but it's greater than me as I manifest in this individual personality. So, and it also reminded me of the golden key. The golden key is an old concept from Emmett Fox. Just heart's desire. For us, it may be peace in the world or whatever it is we wish. And then let it go. Float on the wave, knowing that the wave is in charge and you're just floating. And so fear can be transcended in our individual experiences of life. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. And in the greater good. So if all of this turmoil and all of this status quo is changing, then I guess I think it's all for the good. It's all for the better, even if I can't personally see it. I don't need to go back. We don't need to go back.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. All right, William.
Well, I think what I'm noticing is that I didn't try to get rid of the fear. I embraced it. It became, oh, 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 oh. And I think I gave up on my position of being on the left or holding on to what I thought was the right. And when I just allow myself to just let it all in, and there was so much new information that I had no idea about, scary, this, that, and the other, but I just didn't fight it. And then I hear the word stop. And that word just gets my attention. I stop going down this path of these thoughts that lead me more fear, more fear. But I don't even, it's like, it's little bits and pieces. I stop and I need to do nothing. It's like I'm just being in this moment, which does all the accepting for me. And I'm really, it's such a nice feeling that I'm aware also that I don't always have that often, this kind of sense. And I'm enjoying it. And then I lose it, but I stop and come back to it and lose it. I stop, come back to it. It's like just turning my attention, which is something that I'm finding easier to do. It's like I really need to do nothing. It means something. I just being in the moment. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And thy will takes care of all this, that trust. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I don't know how long it'll last. It does, of course, it's always here until I trigger myself out of it. And then all I have to do is just, oh, shake my head, wake up, at least momentarily, and I'm out of it. I need to do nothing. So I just want to share that. And I hear everybody, I hear the turmoil. I have another situation where there's a divorce going on and so much pain and suffering. And it seems so easy. I'm not in charge of that either. So
Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of, I found myself just kind of, I didn't really understand much of what he was saying. I'll be honest, it's kind of like, I don't know, I was just confused, but he said a couple of things. Higher will is not always the prettiest. And that, I thought that was interesting. Higher will is not always the prettiest. And now is not the time to be comfortable. Right? Yeah. So my tendency is always to try to come back into just what I will call pure being and the witnessing awareness. And there's a lot of discomfort that is arising that this witnessing awareness is aware of. But it's all just happening. It's all phenomena that's arising. And none of it really, it's kind of like what William said, none of it is really touching the pure awareness. It doesn't change or shift or move about, because that pure beingness is always the same. It's just the awareness, but all of this is just arising in it. And I don't know what it's for. I don't know why it's doing it. It's very interesting, but we are already what we seek. So to seek yourself or some truth in all this phenomena that's arising, to be asking the world to show you what the truth is, and to somehow play out in some way that the mind thinks makes sense seems to me to be a fool's errand. And so I catch myself often trying to make a story out of it that makes sense to me, and I'm not doing a good job at it. So I just I don't think there's any point in it, but it is all really interesting. We are already what we seek, though. Divine Union. We're going to start Divine Union on April 4th. Is that right? April 3rd. April 3rd. So just make that announcement now, and we'll keep making it until we get to April 3rd. But if you can get the book, Divine Union, or you need some assistance getting the book, just let Cindy know. You can order it on Amazon, and I think it's only in hardcover right now. So
Can I just, there is money at an open door to buy people books. So it's not a hardship. So if you're in this place and you want a copy and it's not in your budget, all you have to do is make sure I have your address, and an open door would feel really good about sending you a copy of this book. I'm about 100 pages into it, and it's rocking my world. And so the decision to step back from Resurrection in April and start working with this feels really, really good.
all right. Who would like to read? Cindy would like to read.
Can I make a comment before we open up, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just going back to what we were discussing just now, and I really like what you said about a fool's errand, because for me, the part I just made a comment on what I got from the message. But right now, what I'm getting is came to me yesterday is really my need to wake up to thinking to thinking without knowing that I'm thinking, and that is when I'm in acceptance of all these thoughts that come my way, because every single thought that I'm having is either, and this speaks to being present. Every single thought that comes my way, and without question, now I don't know how many thoughts we have in a day, is either related to a reconstruction of the past or a projection into the future. So basically, I need just to wake up from this scary dream. It's a freaking nightmare that's going on here, and so like just getting in touch. That the problem is John is thinking. I got to stop this, all this think, because I'm not thinking my way out. This is the fool's errand. And I really like just to know that I'm thinking, just to know that. And, it would be a good first step for me to remind her, hey, can I just be present? I'm okay right now. And then there's the next thought comes, blah, blah. It's on and on and on. The circus goes on. So that's just the beginning. Just being present without a past or a future. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. And John is teaching John, like everybody else that teach. I love everybody's lessons because I know that although I'm benefiting from it, they're teaching themselves. They're reinforcing their own lessons. I so appreciate that. So appreciate that. And the way that it comes out is beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, and the mental machine is very subtle, and it's very, very subtle. So sometimes we forget that we're thinking. We have to remember that we're thinking. All right, so we're going to start on the in the middle, basically, of page 126. And this is going to take us back into a discussion of group thinking. And Cindy, do you want to lead us off here?
Suppose you want me to unmute first.
That would be good.
Now, the choice to align at this level must be a collective one. There are teachings that would choose one above the next. Let these ones go to the mountaintop and avoid the flood. Let those ones perish in the sea of darkness. These are metaphors for high and low choice, but that is not what we see happening here. Finally, we suggest that humanity, in a time of reckoning, sees not only itself and its creations, but the effect of these creations upon one another. Man, this is taking me back to the Advaita conversation yesterday. That's of just recognizing that our brothers are ourselves, and when we make that choice, we recognize that when we can hold our brothers as ourselves, we are accepting forgiveness and the atonement, whatever comes after that. But this feels like that teaching. Imagine that you are foisting a lie upon a group of people, unaware that it was a lie. When you understand the lie and you align to truth, the residual effect of the lie spoken is still present and must be attended to. How this is attended to at the level of the collective is done in several ways. Personal accountability, of course, but also collective accountability for acts done and choices made in fear. Now, recrimination is not the answer here. We have spoken of this prior, but the true answer is love. Loving into expression that which has been defiled, claiming the lie in truth at the cost of what the lie would perpetrate. The damning of one's brother or sister for what they have chosen or believed will only get you more trials. And I keep being told internally that fear doesn't have a chance if I'm choosing love. So I've been sitting with Josephine's question, and holding it in my own practice, which is every time I notice the fear arising, or the judgment arising, or the anger that is sitting on top of the fear arising, and it's coloring my awareness, I come back consciously to these teachings and understand that fear begets more fear. And when I choose to trust that there is no power other than love, and I rest in that, and I allow only that to direct my actions, I am participating in the creation of the new world.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's the doing for me anyway.
Helen Hamilton has a great teaching on YouTube where she goes through what is love with a student. And it's worth watching. Any other comments on what Cindy read? All right. I'm just going to go about to the top of my screen, and William, you're next in line at the top of my screen to read. Do you have a book, and are you able to read?
Sure. Yep.
Now imagine there's a sinking ship.
Okay. Now imagine there's a sinking ship. Some of you would be running for the boats that might save you. Others might be helping your brothers or sisters. What we are about to tell you may be shocking, but the boat is sinking, and you are the life rafts yourselves. I like that. Now, what this means is that each individual, in her choice to align to the higher, supports those around her in a lifting. This is not a lifting to an ideology or to certain politics. It is not about getting your way. It is about the expansiveness of the light and the tone that you are holding, which can hold another and can hold 1,000 more. In this expansion, you're claiming service. I know how I serve. And the words come to me, for they know not what they do. That keeps coming up to me this morning as I'm listening. I just hear that resonating. And actually, I'll say this, I've been reading different little scriptures in the Bible because, but it's just little snippets of wisdom and truth and freedom and love. And it's always love. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra, you're up next, but I don't know if you want to read or not.
I can read.
Okay.
Now, some of you believe that this must be an act you undertake. Paul is seeing someone running around with a butterfly net trying to save the butterflies. No one will listen to you this way. No one wants to be saved. They want to continue in the ways that they have known, perpetuate the idea of self at whatever level they have been comfortable with. Isn't that true? Oh boy. When we say the boat is sinking, we simply mean that the structure that you have all utilized to determine what reality should be is actually in collapse. And the systems that support this reality, be they economic or religious, whatever they may be, will indeed be reknown. But as the tide comes, wishing away the old, the new is present. And you, each of you, in the manifest light you hold, become lighthouses to the storm. And others will see the light and be lifted by it. To become the lighthouse is simply to know who you are. That's what Amy was telling us earlier. Just know who you are. See a lighthouse before you. See its beams radiate and fall across the dark waves. The lighthouse is not trying to be, it is asserting its function. And this function is to illumine and to guide to safety. So beautifully said.
It is beautifully said. I can
Good.
see Richard is chomping at the bit. No, William's chomping at the bit. It's all yours, William.
Oh man, I love what I heard you read. I don't know you, but the word washing. Wow. Because what I heard, wishing, and that is the difference between so much of when I'm in my thoughts, I'm wishing, and when I'm accepting and I'm in my presence, there's the washing. I do nothing. I need do nothing. And even what I'm saying is, I love it that I'm including myself too in that wishing. It's not me sitting here and looking at other people wishing, washing. No, I put myself, I see me everywhere. And that's what I think is so freeing, that I'm just no longer so fearful about, oh, I see me there too. Yep, you're right. And so that's phrase again, let him cast the first stone, for they know not. All those kind of phrases, thy will be done. My dad filled my head with all kinds, and I just let them out and put them in the dumpster. I guess I did.
What really jumped out at me was they want to continue in the ways they have known, perpetuate the idea of self. It's just that I think that's where the fear comes, because we want things to be the way we thought they should be, and the way we've been comfortable with.
And let me get at this, that what I'm seeing too is that no matter what I'm feeling, I can't force or get someone else to see, feel what I'm feeling. And even it's like welcoming and not going down the path of rejection, unimportant, they don't care, they don't listen. No, that's me that hasn't been caring and listening to myself all these years. So I can't lose for winning. It just keeps coming back, unfolding, unfolding, unraveling myself.
Good. You can't lose for winning. Cindy, you're up next, and then John.
I just I've been spending time with the Vasista yoga most days and writing down quotes that light me up. And this is just one of the ones I wrote down today that seemed to light up, seemed to light up with what we just read. In the very presence of a lamp, there is light. The lamp has no intention to shine. Even so, the self does not intend to do anything, and yet everything happens in its very presence. Which is also for me an answer to Josephine. My intention is to keep the light shining bright. That's it, to notice and surrender the smudges on the window, on the panes, and that's the focus on being as pure a channel for what's coming through as possible. And then just let it do what it does. I mean, it's going to do what it does anyway. But as I notice, to be willing to let the past go, and therefore the distortions based on the past go. And then watch what happens. So that's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
John.
thanks, Cindy. Thanks, and being the light. That's the point. The first reading spoke about the ship going down, and we're not on that ship. We are the light that transcends that ship. And the second reading can't it speaks again to that, knowing that who I am will go on. And when I heard that will go on, I was wanting to ask Cindy and if she could pick that song from the Titanic, "My Heart Will Go On," for our closing one, if she can find it. I don't know if she was able to do that, because it kind of speaks to what this ship is going down, but we will go on because we are the light. I am the light. You are the light, and especially shining brightly like we have in our program. So thanks, Sandra. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, John. That same sentence struck me too. And what I heard in that, to become the lighthouse, is simply to know who you are. We already are the light. That is what we are. We don't have to do anything except self-recognize. We don't need to do anything. The light recognizes itself, right? So you don't have to be good or be helpful or be anything other than the witness, the being, the pure being that you already are, right? And that is the love that we are. Because the pure being holds all, right? It holds everything. And it can only be experienced now, as William reminds us over and over, and Patricia as well. It is just what is right now. And the other thing that really got to me was asserting its function. And I love the lesson in A Course in Miracles that my function is forgiveness. And so I found myself last night doing, as John reminded us, a lot of mind stuff. My mind was actually trying to understand that it wasn't mind. Right? My mind was trying to understand that it's not mind. And that's why I said it's so subtle, right? And once I noticed that, I just went into my function is forgiveness. It's forgiveness for all of it. And that was a real tonic when I just came into that. Like, don't try and change anything. Don't try and do anything. Just let it all happen in your awareness and leave it, let it be. Forgiveness in the way that A Course in Miracles means forgiveness, which means it's just not happening. Just allow.
Could I add just a note here that the 3 words, present moment awareness, those 3 words are like a beacon, like that light that just won't go out. That and the word love, I can spend all day. I don't know what those mean. I don't have to know, but I am those. I am that. And the moment I keep trying to tell someone else about it, that's not the truth. I'm just telling about using words. But I know there it's that moment of being in the moment that you can't really explain or tell. And that's what I hear you saying too, Amy, that there's no mind. Yeah. And so I just love rereading the presence process. I don't know how many hundreds of times those 3 words are jumping out on every page. Present moment awareness. Wait a minute. I've heard it. I don't even know what it means until I just slow down and stop and get still. And then I can't even explain it or talk about it any. But it's just something inside is knowing it. 3 words. So powerful. And now when I look, I see those 3 words everywhere. With John Wheeler, with Seder Adamson, with every non-dual. Those 3 words. What do they mean for this guy sitting here? Okay, I'll stop because that's what I'm learning from my wife and son. Stop.
Yeah. Pointers, right? Pointers. Okay. All right. I will stop and we can continue. William, did you have something more you wanted to say? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Josephine is next and then Patricia on my screen. So I don't know if Josephine would be willing to read. We're starting at the top of page 128. Now understand.
Now understand safety in a new context. You all believe that safety is the known. It is not the known. Safety is when you come to in a liberated state, when you are no longer determining your well-being on a set of ideals that you have inherited. I am safe as long as I have a job, as long as my partner is faithful. I am safe as long as the children are well and the air is clean and the water is drinkable. Your ideas of safety are predicated upon several things. Your idea of what should be and the basic sustenance of the form that you have taken. The form does not need to be sustained, but if your belief in lack is such that the water may dry, the air may be unfit to breathe, you will do what you must to create better circumstances for yourselves. In fact, what you see on this plane, in this physical realm that you have chosen to embody in, is a degree of lack of love, a lack of awareness of divinity that has claimed all things in separation. You defile an ocean when you don't believe the ocean to be holy. This tells me to believe. And believe in safety. Again, do not have fear. Understand what really brings safety. And I answer to myself when I raise the doubts and the questions and the question as to how. I come back to the Course and I answer my own question by saying, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And several other teachings that help me go beyond my disbelief.
Thank you. What do you think he means by a liberated state?
Oh, I know nothing. It's letting go of everything. That's liberation. I'm already there and I know nothing. I don't need know nothing. I just hear that. It's like the root is through me. I don't have to do any of the growing. I don't have to learn. I am learning.
I don't know.
Yeah, and John says freedom.
And I can't, I just want to share this feeling I have of such freedom with the whole world situation. In this moment, I feel so free of that. It is thy will.
Freedom from fear, freedom from the body, freedom from history, freedom from the past, freedom from the future. Freedom. Yeah.
Freedom to know myself. Freedom
Freedom to know myself. Freedom from illusion.
The
Many,
freedom of,
multiple things. Freedom is expressed in innumerable ways, isn't it?
freedom from even having a language.
All right. All right. Are we ready to go to the next paragraph? Patricia's going to read for us.
Also with freedom, freedom is free to do stuff as well. It's not always freedom from, it's freedom to.
That's correct.
Just
Freedom,
being present.
Yes.
yeah, but freedom to create. I think John is 100% right. Freedom to create. Because creating is our natural inclination from source. We are
And perhaps
created to
it's not,
create.
and perhaps it's not freedom to or from, but freedom of.
Mhm.
Yeah, freedom to do, be, and have.
Freedom
All
of
right.
separation from separation.
Let's just get rid of the word even, freedom. We don't need it. Just be.
All right, Patricia, you gonna take us away?
Sure. So, on a personal level, it's freedom to declutter my studio.
Wow, that's too big a job too.
Okay. Now your idea of safety, is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay. Now, your idea of safety must be re-understood as operative from the upper room. Now, your idea of safety must be understood as operative from the upper room where you cannot be attacked by fear. In the now, in the now. We use the word attacked in an illustrative sense. Imagine you stand on a dock. Below the dock, the sharks are feeding. Best not to hang your legs down below the dock. You will come up without them. You understand that. The positioning is not too much avoidance, but understanding the requirements of what it means to be safe. Now, when a world is being recalibrated, calibrated, which is in tone when everything is changing at once, your understanding of where to hang your feet is confused. What was safe one day is not the next. Your idea of the self is changing so quickly that you don't even know what hat to wear when you leave the house. Allow for change and allow the change to be beneficial. I see that as living in the I don't know world. Allow for change and allow the change to be beneficial. From the upper room, your perception of the self as the one change is not claimed by fear. It is the act of fear that would seek to reclaim you in the dark waters without the light that you are calling others to the safety of the shore you sit upon.
I just have to say, the word, when a world is being recalibrated, and you kind of wanted to say recollaborated.
I know.
And I think that was kind of an interesting,
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Yeah.
Recollaborated.
Well, it's the collaboration, it's the collective.
Yeah, he talks about that a lot.
Yeah. I think about one of the reasons I like coming here is because of the intelligence that's in this room. And I appreciate that because we're sharing ideas and we're sharing interpretations, and it's delicious in the now, and then it changes. Anyway.
Thank you. I don't know if Rana wants to read, or Lana, you're driving, so you can't read. John's good. All right, I'm going to take the next paragraph. Now, the shore you sit upon can be understood as the kingdom, or simply another level of vibration that you have aligned to in such a way that your reality has confirmed your new stand or way of being. The reality that you know yourself in now is not seeking to confirm the old. When we said there was a wall with writing upon it, and you read the writing on the wall, whatever it may say, you are actually confirming the wall. When you move beyond the wall, when the wall crumbles, you stand in a new field. And a field is always present in these teachings when we wish you to understand the idea of dimensional reality. The octave above the one you have known yourselves in is in resonance, claiming things to it at that level. And within that level, there are gradations. Again, an octave in the upper room with highs and lows and in-betweens. Each of you who says yes to this passage will actually trespass the wall that we are teaching you of, move beyond it. Paul interrupts. Isn't the claim, I am free, I am free, I am free, doing this? Indeed it is. But it is the passport to the upper room, and you may be in the upper room and still experience the self in separation. To begin to move towards union requires an acclimation to a higher level of intonation than you have held thus far. To become one with Source in your realization, while knowing how to care for a body, how to navigate a shared reality, is a transition few make. But we are teaching it anyway, because the species you are in its collective agreement for change is aligning at this level, even though you don't see it yet. That's the reason right there that we're ready to move to divine union. That paragraph right there.
But looking at
I
the body is a huge concept, Amy, because that's the spirit's its only way of expression is through our bodies, you know. So, it's a big deal to if I'm looking for union, just start taking care of the very thing that's leading me there. That's that can direct me and give it the best opportunities to wake up to my nutrition, sanitation, rest, and exercise and stuff like that. You know, those are all key ideas.
I would agree that they are. I think this is saying something even more than that, John. Although I don't disagree with you, it is saying that. But I think it's saying that we're moving to a state that we've never experienced before.
Sure.
Is this not too different from what is said about the course, that it was given to us because we are now ready? So we're on the precipice of change, and we may not see it, but we are ready. And now
Yeah.
faith, if we have faith in the teachings, I guess that will help us move in that direction.
And I just want to go back to what John said, Josephine, and maybe it's to use the senses of the body in a new way, to be more attuned. Ron has come on. I don't know if, okay. This is a really important passage.
Mhm.
Sandra.
Sorry, Amy, I didn't hear that. I'm having a little trouble hearing.
Oh, I thought you were maybe reaching for the unmute button.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So to become one with Source, are we not already one with Source? But this says to become one with it in our realization while knowing we are in a body. My understanding of teachings in the past is that the body is too limited to hold the divine within itself, which is why I go to what John said. I don't think that this has ever been experienced in the dream. And I'll leave that and ask Richard to take the floor. What you got for us?
Morning, everyone. I understand that sentence today. You are now a lucid dreamer. In other words, you are aware that you are a dream, a separate self, but you know that you're not. You know you're one with everything, and you still experience and be separate. And that will continue, I believe, when you leave the body. We'll still be a separate entity, but we will no longer be physical. And I think that what the collective is, it's a collection of non-physical beings thinking as one mind. So, if we think in terms of our current experience in this world, we have not only separate bodies, but we have separate minds. And what I think they're trying to teach us is we have to collective as a mind. Hive mind comes to mind, but we may also be at the same time separate bodies within the illusion. So that's why I've been guided the last few years to focus on how do I raise my frequency? How do I raise my tone? And when I learn to do that by accepting everything as it is without judgment, and now I'm at a level of being that is more receptive to change. I no longer want it my way because I don't know what my way is anymore. Whatever is. And if I can accept that, I'm okay, I'm at peace. And I can only raise my consciousness or my frequency or my tone if my mind is at peace. If my mind is entertaining fearful thoughts or about change or anything else in my experience, I'm not able to grow. I'm not able to shine. I'm not able to be the light that I am. I'm not able to be what I am supposed to be being. So that's what I think they're trying to say here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. I think that was really well put. Patricia.
Kind of building on what Richard was talking about, it's like, I see it as a preparation. We are preparing ourselves to leave these bodies and to join the spirit, the big spirit. And that's one of the teachings of Buddhism, which I love so much. It's like accepting death, preparing for the death of the body, so that we are prepared to join what they refer to as big mind. We refer to as all there is. It doesn't matter. It's just language. Pardon me. Anyway, that's what I see what he's talking about. That's what my association is.
Thank you. All right, it's 11:14, and just make a note that we're ending on page 130 at that first paragraph, the splintering you see of reality. So make a note of that for next week.
Can I just make a quick comment, Amy?
Absolutely.
I just would just want to go back to the body in a sense, because what Patricia is talking about is going on, moving on, and we're moving on with this form, leaving this form behind. But it is the spirit's form, and it's given to us for a reason, to develop it, and and use it as in service to the spirit. So that so basically, when Richard comes on and starts telling us, what I'm hearing is the body is becoming not only the body itself, but the faculties. It's not only our physical senses that are becoming, but it's our reason, our will, our perceptions. That these are faculties that have been gifts of the spirit, which no other form has. Where its prime development thing, and so it's our function to develop these to the point that we can, and with as Richard was saying, with the intention of doing just that, advancing the work of the spirit by developing our body to its best expression, and its faculties. And so that's huge. So for me, it is anyway. So I just wanted to add that little piece.
Thank you. Richard.
I just wanted to say I downloaded Divine Union, the Kindle version. A Kindle version is available.
Oh, excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I just was looking at Rana's cat, and he was just trying to get Rana's attention. And I think that cat feels like it's the center of the universe. right? And doesn't understand why Rana is not agreeing. Oh, all right. It's 11:15. I think William's going to have the last word.
Well, what I love this, the metaphor of the 3D world, past, present, future, and all the thoughts and stories that go with that, that live us, and then the vertical dimension. And that just goes to infinity. And it's like the higher it goes, seemingly, the less the physical world. It's just the spirit, 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 but it just keeps going. And I hear what in here, you actually don't see it, but they're still pointing it out. They're still saying, it's just that this never stops. And so that's that why will. And have no idea, don't have to, but it's so I just see that, and that metaphor has meant so much because when I'm at this level, I make up a story at that level. And then I see the truth and go, and I'm at another level or drop a level, and I make up a story about that. So I spend most of the time in the outer branches of making this into a 3D world at whatever that vertical dimension of truth I will be done. And I just see that so clearly. And there I am. Oh, and now I see it from the stories. And I love changing the story for a better one or listening to someone else. Oh, I love their story better, but they're at a different level. No wonder they see what they see. I'm at my level. I'm always wherever I'm at in this enlightenment.
Thank you. All right. Well, we'll see each other on Monday for rubber hits the road, rubber meets the road. And I don't know. Until then, go cause trouble.
I just love your spunky attitude, Amy, and your consistency.
It's just my true nature. It's